Welcome back into Southside Connection on the Neighborhood Network. I'm Ed Lane. Brad Meeks now hanging out with us. Brad, it is your final day today, so we may give you some parting shots at the very end of the show today. But more importantly, you were down there when some shots were taken on the football field. Magna Vista gets a big two-point conversion stop. Dan River, down 14-7. Gets a touchdown on the last play of regulation, and they go for two. Understandably so, it's a benefit game. I think generally you just don't want to go to overtime, so whatever happens, happens. Magna Vista gets a stop. No one's denying that's a big play, but they rush the field, some pushing and shoving afterwards. What did you gather after being down on the football field about what took place?
Well, Magna Vista, they were obviously very excited at the end of the game, and I understand it being the first game they've played and winning in dramatic fashion like that. However, it was a benefit game, as you mentioned, and if it were in fact a real game, that two-point conversion would have never happened. There would have been an extra point kicked, and probably you would have been playing into overtime, and who knows what would have happened there. So a little bit maybe premature celebration for Magna Vista, maybe in the regular season playing against Martinsville and Bassett. A play like that and a victory like that, there would be cause for celebration. However, in the benefit game, I don't think there was much of a cause for that.
That's an interesting perspective, and you have played high school football. My take on that personally is that I like the excitement. I certainly like the fact that Magna Vista has shown that they can play in a tight ball game throughout. They did not have as many of those during the regular season last year just because Harvey Taylor was that good. But they're a team that right now I think needs to show that they can win those type of ball games. And I think the other thing that sort of stood out to me is that Coach Favero and the staff understand that while it's great to be excited about that, A, it's a benefit game, and B, you don't want to get too excited to where you jeopardize with possible ejections and then being suspended for the next ball game. I think that's why Coach Favero had to take a harsh stand as he did pretty quickly and swiftly on that.
Well, that's right. And then you think back to the third quarter, the teams also got involved in a little skirmish, a little fight there. And if a player was to throw a punch there at the end of the game, and if they were to get ejected, although the game was over, then you could be facing a game, maybe 2-game suspension for the regular season. And Magna Vista could have seriously been hurting had that happened.
Well, certainly, and they go on the road to Heritage this week to get ready to take the Pioneers. And Heritage is a squad that's lost 3 in a row to Magna Vista in what's become a fairly regular season opening series. So I understand completely why both of those squads are taking that particular stance. And frankly, I think you have to take that. You want the passion, but you got to know how to control your emotion. It's football. It's a fine line between the two.
And that's right. And as we've mentioned time and time again, the inexperience does play a role into that. When you lose guys like Harvey Taylor and Deshaun Penn, and then you go on to these dramatic type wins, for the first time, it can be a little bit overwhelming, and you can be very excited. However, as time goes on, these kids will become used to them and more used to winning games like this, and maybe in the future, there won't be any skirmishes.
It's the one word that jumps out so often between not only JV and varsity, but between young varsity and experienced varsity. Perspective, understanding when it's okay, how it's okay to be excited, but certainly not going so overboard that you blow your emotions. We actually saw that with Dan River. They came out of the gate so on fire, so excited that it seemed like they sort of lost a little bit in that second and third quarter before their fourth quarter rally. Brad, we've got to go. We want to thank you very much, though, for your time throughout this summer.
Thank you.
We also want to thank Ryan Stone, and a reminder, Edward Lane and BTW21 TV on Facebook for more information. For Doug Hubbard, Ryan Stone, Brad Meeks, I'm Ed Lane. We say so long. Stay tuned. More great local programming after this on the Neighborhood Network.